So you would never, under any circumstances, marry a woman who has a child at all. That's just
not only
beyond the pale to me.
not only would I answer that theoretically, hypothetically, I can answer that factually. I have been proposed to twice by baby mamas, and both times turned them down flat. Not only that, Mr. West, but I have also successfully dodged at least 6 more attempts to have me married off to baby mamas. And I have successfully evaded every last attempt, like Neo evading those bullets in the Matrix. The answer is no. I will not, N-O-T, not jump the broom, wed, get into holy matrimony with a baby mama. End of. Out of this conversation that you,
as far as I'm concerned, you're basically just giving the inverse reactionary opinion. Sure, there are people that will act like, oh, being a baby mama, having made mistakes in your life, or coming with baggage should never be looked at. You should all, but like, of course, that's manifestly ridiculous. I don't think that very many people in the real world believe that. I think you might be able to find like women who've lived pretty terrible lives who would essentially espouse that idea, but even them, if you talk to them, they'd probably try to come up with reasons why they're an exception. But you're going the other
Mr. West.
Well, hold on, let me finish my point. You're swinging the pendulum.
Hang on. I'm gonna let you finish. Mr. West, Mr. Samuels, and this is just a statement of fact, Mr. Samuels has been dealing with all kinds of crap merely for saying and suggesting that the George Jefferson type black man doesn't want to have a ready-made family already. That's what he worked all his life for, is so he can get his own family. And he has been dealt with he is facing lawsuits behind saying that. Okay? He's facing lawsuits right now. Now, we don't know how it's going to turn out, but he's facing the prospect of lawsuits because black women are so upset for him saying that there are brothers out there that bust their ass all their life and they don't want no ready-made family. They want to make their own family. And instead of them just accepting it, they want to sue this man. They want to drive this man off the air. And I feel some kind of way about that because black women have been able to say whatever they want to say about black men, including having their own standards, and nobody say anything about it. But when one black man comes to the forefront and just simply say what every man knows to be true, now they want to run him off the air. And that ain't right. And I feel some kind of way about that. I do. I don't work my ass off from can't see in the morning to can't see at night around the clock to take some other broad's children on. I ain't doing that. I'm not. That's not why I do this.
And if I'm wrong about my assessment of you there, let me just ask you this. Do you think there are ever situations, and I'll just say outright, besides being widowed, because I think that most people who aren't monsters would think it's okay to marry a widow. Do you think there are ever situations besides being widowed where it's not a bad choice to marry a woman who is a single mother?
Well, here's what I think. I believe this. I believe that if a man chooses of his own volition to take on a woman with children, be that baby mama, be that divorced or widowed mama, that's his choice. However, what has developed in Black American society over the past 3 to 4 decades is a cultural expectation that black men, particularly childless, successful black men, take on black women with kids, full stop. Not only that, Mr. West, and this goes back to Mr. Samuels again. Not only that, Mr. West, but black men, particularly those that are childless and successful, take on black women who are obese and grossly overweight. Take on black women who are essentially insufferable bitches in temperament. Take on black women who are combative, masculine, manlets. take on black women who have, you know, a messed up relationship history. In other words, black men are expected to just take on black women no matter what. And if you disagree with that, you hate yourself, your mama black, you got little dick energy, you're gay, you name it. And that's what black men are pushing back against in the form of the Black Manosphere and beyond. We have had it.
You're not just pushing back against that. I mean, you're someone who ostensibly doesn't want anyone telling you what to do. You don't want, you know, you seem to have a problem even with the fact that my wife, who is white, stepped into a space that you feel like is your own. Okay, whatever. But then why are you out there not just saying, hey, I'll never marry a woman with this kind of baggage? You'll just say any man who married a woman who has a child is a simp, is a beta male. We'll say all these, like, why are you saying that? How do you know that? How do you know that man didn't?
Have I called you a simp, Mr. West?
No, you haven't. And maybe I'm being unfair if I'm generalizing opinions from the Manosphere.
Because there's other individuals in the Black Manosphere. I'm not going to mention any names, but there are other individuals who have called you, and I've heard it. I actually heard it. There are other individuals whose names I will not mention here who have called you all kind of names, and I have not. I have been clear and keen to refer to you as your.
Do you think it was unwise of me to marry a woman with a child?
That's your business. It's not for me to decide. That's for you to figure out. Now, if you would ask me, would I do it? The answer would be no.
So you would never, under any circumstances, marry a woman who has a child at all. That's just
not only would I answer that theoretically, hypothetically, I can answer that factually. I have been proposed to twice by baby mamas, and both times turned them down flat. Not only that, Mr. West, but I have also successfully dodged at least 6 more attempts to have me married off to baby mamas. And I have successfully evaded every last attempt, like Neo evading those bullets in the Matrix. The answer is no. I will not, N-O-T, not, jump the broom, wed, get into holy matrimony with a baby mama. End of. Up the whole thing with the black man, well, the Manosphere, having guys that have trouble with ladies. Now that's a big topic, and we can go in a lot of directions with that. But I want to just stick with one, because you have said in a number of your broadcasts of late that you didn't have any problems with the ladies growing up and whatnot. You consider yourself, or at least, or let me put it this way, they consider you, they being the ladies in your life, consider you a pretty good looking guy, no problems, anything like that. So that raises an interesting question, because if that's the case with you, and I don't doubt that, and if it's the case for guys in the Black Manosphere or the Manosphere in general, that they have problems with the ladies, how do you consider yourself, as a man that never had any problems in that regard, attempting to counsel brothers who have had problems? In other words, what do you know about that problem with women life? I make that make sense.
Well, for one thing, I've seen a lot of people over the years who will say things like, they'll just, not necessarily people in the Manosphere, although this is a very prevalent sentiment in the Manosphere, they'll just kind of disparage women, and they'll act like their problems with women is all the women. It's completely the women. It's never themselves that is the problem. And so I'll bring that up to be like, well, funny, you have all these problems with women. I've dated women who turned out to be like not great, and that's why things didn't work out. But it's not something I would apply to women as a whole. And so I will point that out to say, look, it's very possible to not really have problems with women. It's very possible for women to actually be interested in you. It's very possible to find women who are good and decent. Maybe the problems that you're having with women are not just the women. Maybe the problem is you. Maybe you need to work on yourself. I think that who else would be pointing this out to people than people who have successful marriages, than people who haven't had a problem attracting women. I think there is a problem in the Manosphere where a lot of guys are laying all the blame at the feet of women, and the truth is, The problem is that they're kind of awkward, or they're kind of a jerk, or whatever.
What if you're kind of short? How about that?
Kind of short?
Yeah. See, hang on. I'm 5'7", you're 6'1". So what can you tell me? Because I hear a lot of guys like you trying to say to guys like me, well, the problem is you. Well, what are you supposed to do about your height?
It's weirdly a lot of times the answer seems to be.
So you don't know nothing about that short man.
I do. Well, I don't firsthand, but I know a lot of people who are short, and I'll say
everybody knows somebody that fell out of a 9-story building and lived to tell the tale. Everybody knows that.
No. What I was going to say, this is of course anecdotal, but it's something I've seen a lot. My wife and I talk about this a lot. My wife's pretty short. She's like 5'3". I'm a little over 6 foot. We've actually found a lot of the time.
She's actually about average height for a woman in America.
Yeah, I think average height's 5'4". She's just slightly below it. I view her as short because I'm a lot taller than her. But what we've found is that a lot of the times, very tall girls, like 5'10" and above, seem to have some of the same issues as short guys. And so
but they still checking for the tall guys though. See, my point in this is, David,
a lot of times I find the tall girls end up getting with a guy who's their height or shorter because.
But see, here's the thing. The problem I'm having with guys like you that I'm not denying that you did well with the ladies and stuff like that. The problem is, how dare you guys attempt to talk down to guys who do have problems, real ones, with women, no matter what they do?
Do you think that guys that have problems with women should talk to and take advice from men who haven't had problems with women?
No, I don't. Just like women want to tell men they shouldn't be speaking on reproductive issues because they ain't no woman. Yeah. Or you don't know nothing about that gay life. You don't know nothing about that gay life. So what you doing talking about gay people when you're a straight white guy? Yeah. If you're a guy that don't know what it's like to struggle with women, you don't know what you're talking about. By definition.
But you might know something that person needs to know. For example,
no. If you're a 6'1" and you never had no problems with that, you ain't gonna say nothing to no 5'7" dude. You don't know nothing about that life. You know nothing about it. Nothing. Look, you have nothing useful to add to the discussion. Nothing. Now you can talk to other guys who are 6 foot something. You can say nothing to the 5'7" guy. Nothing.
But there are things I can say. I can say to a 5'7" guy, I can say, look, I know you might think that if you were 5 inches taller, 6 inches taller to be my height, you might think to yourself, oh yeah, I'd have everything figured out. The truth is, you wouldn't. I've also faced rejection from women. I've also, had women that I was interested in that I wasn't able to go any farther with. I've also had those problems, so I can point that out to them, and I can say I don't think I'm at all disqualified from saying your height.
How about this? Tell me a problem that you had with women. We'll compare notes. Tell me a problem you had with women. We'll see if it's on par with being a shorter than average man in Black America, where Black women are size queens. He got to be tall, girl. Go ahead. I want to hear this.
I've had women that I was interested in not reciprocate the feeling. I've had women who, I asked out, turned me down. I've had women cheat on me. Like it's. Have you ever
faced a nuclear rejection, Mr. West?
You mean like where they reject you and are a jerk about it instead of just declining?
Yeah. Have you ever stepped to a woman and she just put you on blast in front of everybody?
No, I have not. And,
good. You have just admitted that you have no idea what it's like to deal with Black women in Black America, because Black women are masters of the nuclear rejection. They have taken the nuclear rejection to a high art. Okay? You want to deal with some antisocial bitches? Deal with Black women. And I'm saying this as somebody. Let's be clear. I'm not one of these other guys in the Black Manosphere who are supposedly, quote unquote, Team Becky. This is coming from a brother who dealt with Black women all his life. And I've seen Black women delight in shooting other brothers down. And everybody listening to me right now knows what I'm saying is true.
And I understand that can hurt, but at the same time, if a woman is shooting you down for purely shallow reasons, if it's just, no, you're too short, Why even let that bother you? Why not just move on and find a woman who's not so shallow?
Do you see what you just did there? You don't even see it. You don't even see it. Did you see what you just did there?
Enlighten me.
You just said something that again, you don't know what that's like, man. All right, just move on to someone else. Well, that's easy to say. Well, that's like saying to people that had to deal with sitting in the back of the bus back in the day. Well, why don't you just go and walk to work? Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah.
5'7's really not that short. I know a whole bunch of people who are 5'7 who have successful marriages.
It is. In Black America, it is. In Black America, it is.
Okay, then if that's the problem you're facing, why not step outside of Black America? Why not get on some online dating profiles and just find women that you find things in common with?
Do you see what I'm saying? See, this is what I'm talking about. See, this is the problem that I have with critics of the Manosphere. See, my problem with the critics of the Manosphere is that you guys don't know that life. But you got you're so strident about it. You're so strident, but you don't know that life. There's a reason why the Manosphere exists. I'm not saying you gotta like it. I'm not saying you gotta agree with it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a very real, legitimate reason why it exists. And I take umbrage to the idea that interlopers are going to tell me and other brothers in the Black Manosphere how to respond to situations that they don't know nothing about, never lived, never walked a mile in their shoes. I take umbrage to that, sir.
I guess what I'm trying to say, and I understand what you're saying, but what I'm trying to say is that there are absolutely women out there who would refuse to date a man who's 5'7".
And then turn around. And here's the other thing. And the very same Black women who will do that, then turn around and try to shame and cajole you about body positivity, about colorism, 4C hair, lookism, featureism. You can't handle a strong Black woman. Do you see the freakery that's going on here? This is the reason why, Mr. West, my stock and trade, I make my money talking about Black female freakery. Because that's exactly what it is.
Are you sure it's not the fact that you make a living talking about Black female f***ery that is ruining your chances with the women and not your height?
Absolutely.
Because I just don't think that...
It's bringing balance to the force. I'm the Mace Windu up in this piece. I'm bringing balance to the force. It was for many, many years I had to take that crap. And now, I'm hitting back. And it feels so damn good. I'm like Chuck Mangione back in the day. It feels so damn good.
I mean, I guess what I would say is that it seems like, I mean, you've had a pretty calm discussion for the most part, but you've really gotten like pretty angry talking about the height
this
thing.
gets me fired up and ready to go.
Seems like you have a little bit of I don't say this like as an insult at all, but it seems like you have a little bit of a complex here. Are you sure it's not more the complex than the actual height that hurts your chances?
No, the height is the height. The number is the number.
Right, but a lot of guys that are 5'7" go on to have perfectly happy marriages and get with plenty of women.
You can't even name them.
I could. I know several of them. I know.
How many? Okay, in Oregon, how many do you know? Give me a number.
Just out of my close personal friends, I could probably give you 4 or 5 guys who are 5'7" or under.
4 or 5. That's not even statistically significant.
Well, but obviously my close personal friends aren't going to be a large enough sample size to be statistically significant.
And what I'm saying to you is that scientific evidence is pretty damn conclusive.
Might mean something more here.
Yeah.
That I am very good friends with. The oldest brother, one of my best friends, we're about the same height. Yeah. His dad's about the same height. Other than that, all of his brothers are under 5'9". They all ended up short for some reason, except for him.
Yeah.
2 of them in particular are like 5'6", 5'7". They both have extremely attractive wives. They both managed to get married. They both have never had any problem getting women because they are good guys from a good family who have good values. Like there's a lot of other things that matter that could easily overcome being moderately
Coulda,
short,
shoulda, woulda.
even to very short.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. See, I like highlighting the hypocrisy that so many black women engage in. Let's try this again. The very same black women that have no qualms clowning the brother because he's sure he can't do nothing about it will turn right around and now want to whine, bitch, and moan because the guys they checking for ain't checking for them because colorism, body positivity, 4C hair, featureism, looksism, can't handle a strong black woman, can't deal with a baby mama. Do you see the hypocrisy?